So I want to talk about Skyflight as one of the experiences, because the experiences that I went through, this is actually what really was facilitated. I was being facilitated to move from place to place, basically to go to places that I used to go. That was in Mombasa, where I would go in when I was fully possessed in spirit, to attend those meetings, to have review meetings, but also to get up to really get to know what plans actually would have around us at that time. I was not alone. There are many other colleagues from different countries, continents. I even remember one of the colleagues then was called Elaine from Asia. And Asia, I do believe, is one of the leading countries, the leading continents, that a lot of sky flights and a lot of witchcraft at a high level is being practiced other than these other continents. So
that sky flight, can you put it in a simple form for some other person to understand? They may not know what a sky flight is.
It is just in simple terms is like having an ability to fly to a different place, to a particular destination.
People often call them night dancers.
Not actually night dancers. Night dancers, it's also like an area in the witchcraft world, in the demonic world. It is categorized. But having a sky flight is much more deep. I mean, the power that one is given to have to do it, to have a sky flight, is so high and so deep compared to just a night dancer. But at the end of it all, even a night dancer can also cause a lot of chaos in people's lives. So this is what actually I was really doing. The power that I had been given to pass over as you would travel from home, wherever I would pass, people would like, all those families, all those schools, all those institutions, offices, wherever I would pass, it was not just one way, because it was like as you go, you would pass a particular place. Like Skyflight, like having different ways in space there. When you go, take one way. When you're coming back, you're transported back. Normally you come back the other way around. So that is like to increase on the infliction, but also on the coverage of the families, communities, offices, that people now get, the number now gets higher, other than just having like a small number that are affected, because the reason behind was to get as many people being covenanted in the demonic world to expand the kingdom of the devil. So I would do it, and it would be done. And at the end of it all, you'll find that reports of miscarriages, reports of many abortions, reports of many marriages breaking, misfortunes, and children becoming a little people becoming a bit rebellious in families. Children, you'll find that children now don't even have the desire to concentrate in class. Their performance would be affected, and actually parents would get away from their responsibilities. At the same time, you'll find that in families, men would also be affected when you to have spending time together with your wife. You find that you're weak, so it makes most men become non-performers. And when you're a non-performer, automatically you'll find that now your marriage begins to crumble. And when your marriage crumbles, you would find that they would sit as a couple and say, but what do we do? Either we go to hospital or we consult. So in one way, some of them would go to hospital, and when they are medically treated, they would have negative responses. But when they go to consult witchcraft, things would work, but just for a short time, because they don't do it permanently, because that was one way. a source of getting wealth, more money from them. So that is one of the things that was happening at the time of, on the side of sky flights. For the girls and ladies, I would also layer them with small gifts like handkerchiefs. And the moment a girl is given a handkerchief, you know that is already direct covenant. So you'll find that her life will never be settled, because you know demons are transferred either sexually or through a gift that you've given to somebody. So the moment the person accepts this gift, even a handkerchief or money, you'll find that now already a covenant has already been done. It is already now complete. And that now, it means that that lady, that girl, and you remember, the ladies love gifts so much. So the moment they receive these gifts, they turn out to be agents. So that is how they would get more agents using gifts. And even today, actually gifts are not good things. They are good when given out of love, out of love, the love of God. This would then make the girls be brought into direct covenant and involvement with the demons. So it was happening at that time. I now want to let us know that much as these things were happening, I want us to talk about the 6 different departments that at that time I really got to know the details of the departments of the devil. Just as like in the government, there are ministries, there are departments. So actually for the demonic world to advance, there are departments, and the major ones, there are a number of them, but the major ones are 6. One of them is family dominant spirits. Family dominant spirits. This is a spirit that rules the families. Why family dominant? Because you know every other good thing begins from a family. Family being a unit. There's nothing that will happen out there when the family is not settled. So this is what would give us would give us a way out. Would give us like a platform to know that actually in the demonic world, how can families be broken? How can we influence? How can we negatively influence families? And there's a spirit that actually is always connected. That is there's an attachment that out of the work, out of the witchcraft that I was doing, that would be used to paralyze families. And as I said, it's called a dominant spirit. It only works at family levels. So it dominates and rules the family. And you know, for us here in Africa, there's that notorious religion in all that happens in our families, in our marriages. People are so much concerned about their marriages. So once you're in a family, you think you're very settled, and whatever you do, whatever you plan, you sit together as a couple with the children, you plan, and then because you want to achieve. So that is where now the evil spirit, that one called the dominant spirit, also now gets right there. Because for example, when a car is bought in a family, you do what? During those days, I don't know today, but during those days you would celebrate, and as you celebrate, you're getting either cock, you're getting either bull, you're getting either, you're sacrificing something. Actually, and as you sacrifice, you're appeasing the devil.
Actually, in our place here, it used to happen that when you buy a car like that, you must collect the villagers, you kill a bull, and then that is, of course, sacrificing. Then it becomes a habit because I saw it happening in our place. And then this man who bought the car, was subjected to this every year. If you fail to do it the next year, the vehicle will develop problems. You will struggle, you will not, until it is done that way again. So it was, I don't know, a habit. Every year you must do it, yeah.
That was a ratio that actually, at that time it would happen so much in those families. And the responsible spirit, as I'm saying, is called the family dominant spirit, to ensure that whatever is done in the family, whether a new house has been constructed, whether a car has been bought, whatever is happening is ritually, there's that ritual that is done. A sacrifice is made, and a covenant is established, and the covenant is arrived at to really continue making whatever is owned, whatever people have at a family level is attached to the devil. Whether it is a cow that has been bought, you have a goat, you have a hen, this is spirit really gets to know, because this spirit is a spiritual being. It gets to know what is happening within the family. That now I can get, that I now have an attachment. If it is a car, what can be done to the car? You'll find that you have a car, and every other time you're working on your car, you're spending a lot of money and you think that is the right way of doing things. You're repairing, you're servicing it every now and then. So you find that at the end of it all, it affects your monetary status at a family level. And even when you are born, like for example, in a family of a pastor, in a family of a priest or a bishop, in a Christian family or a family that has a Christian background, still with this spirit here, you will get challenged, because no matter, even when like you go to pray, but you may not know that yes, at our family there's this spirit called the family dominant spirit. You go to pray, but you will realize that your prayer is not getting answered. You're presenting your request unto God, you're petitioning God, and there's a way you'll find that your responses are delayed, your answers are not there. You keep on meandering, year in, year out, and you're not getting your positive answers from God because of, and you may also not know, because when we know things and we remind God, then that means it's the best way, because the Bible says that those who remember, those who remember God, God also remembers them. So when we get to know, as my brother Joel said, that to fight an enemy, you need to know the name, you need to know the enemy well, then that would be the basis for you to overcome the enemy.
Mr. Frank, is that dominant spirit the same one like familiar spirit?
Yeah, it is a familiar one, but yeah, there are many familiar spirits, but this one is grounded at the family.
Yeah.
This is what the evil spirits were telling me at that time, that they are dominant. Why? Because they dominate. You know, dominating is like taking control of one's life, taking control in everything. They don't, that is there, and really, you know, like taking full control. This is what it actually means. So this is the background. For example, a cow at that time, a cow gives birth like in a family, and you know, the family members get the blood, I mean the milk of the first milk, and they have it poured, and you know, there would be some words that would be talked about making, okay, there would be some chantings. That is in one way a ritual being done. And if one of the family members would talk about blessings, you know, just to remind the dominant spirit that yes, the cow was given here birth. It's like making it have an attachment to dominate the cow, and now it ceases to be your cow. So you cannot sell this cow until you if you did it, sometimes it causes death, because you have to submit. So that is how it used to really to work. So that is totally appeasing demons. So when it comes like a family has gotten a new baby, the names that the child is to be given, they have to consult this spirit. Which name do we give? And that's when you will realize that when another name is given, then you'll find that the child will be kept, will begin to cry unnecessarily. Temperature rising, child is not comfortable, and what really now happens, like in that place in where I come from, they would get like 2 chicks, and the name of the child, say this one, you are so and so. For this chick, this is so and so. And then they would get the 2 chicks, because now it's a ratio, and they would throw it over a house. And then now they tell the one they have named, like the first one, that if you're the one, get up from wherever you are in the house and enter the house. And the moment it is done, the one that will enter the house, that is the name that the child will take. And automatically, as it is being done, maybe goat is being slaughtered, a big cock is slaughtered there, food is cooked, malwa is there, people celebrate, and that is how dominance really begins. The level of dominance gets now even more higher. And now that child takes over that name, and already covenanted in the demonic world in a way that people would not know.
This simply goes like I've been reminded here of something. There are people, everything they want to eat, even water, somebody drops down some bit of it. Wanting to eat the food, the first small thing, they drop down. That is the same way also that ancestral worship like this.
Actually, even during that time, whenever I would go to any place, you'd lick the soil of that place. Maybe even now, some people go ahead and do it. Like I'm traveling from Tororo to Arua, the first thing that I will do when I get here is to lick the soil of this place.
What does that mean?
That means that you like for me at that time, I was saying that I used to eat soil. So wherever I would go, I would first now eat the soil of that place, because it was like real food. Not bothering to eat whatever, you just get soil and then you eat. That's like it was my real diet actually, that I used to enjoy. Thank God that today I no longer eat soil. I eat a food. But even when we are born again, the devil will fight us. So we really have to know the techniques, that what is our enemy, because there's a lot that's happening in the churches. People are going into churches and there's no deliverance. People are not interested in deliverance. People are only interested in medical checkups. Yeah. And there are those things that actually are very challenging. That even when a person is medically treated, that's why you go to hospitals and they are medically treating people, they are clinically treating people, they are carrying out tests, and their results are not actually what the medics are expecting. But actually overall, most of the inflictions that are being imposed on people, even in churches, even in our families, like I said, this is a family dominant spirit, is really done by this dominant spirits to paralyze people's lives. And when we are covenanted to the devil, the spirit of God gets affected, and even God knows. So reading the word of God and going for prayer will finally give us God's grace for deliverance. But how do you know, or how can you tell that there's a family dominant spirit? What are some of the things? What are some of the signs that you can know that yes, there's a family dominant spirit in action? One, people will always have demonic dreams, satanic dreams. Sometimes dreams come, but overall, people are not bothered about dreams. So it's until you get to know the meaning of these dreams, because dreams have different sources. Biblically, there are about 3 different sources of dreams, from our lives, from ourselves, from God, and also from the demonic world. So there are those 3 major sources of dreams. So one of the things how you would tell that yes, this is a demonic, a family dominant spirit is, people would have nightmares. Fake visions will begin to take place even when you are seated during broad daylight. You find that you hear that you've been called. You called a name. A voice comes and calls you, and you even respond. You dream about snakes, but remember, snakes are a symbol of Satan, and it takes advantages of some covenants being fulfilled demonically. This must have been circumstances that sometimes back there was a spirit with which a covenant was made. If like you dream about, like those snakes, they are coming. Some of those things that are happening in our families, you know, they are trying to remind the family that yes, there's this thing that has to be done. Because when a snake normally keeps on like coming in a particular family, you should know this is a symbol of, this is Satan itself actually. So it's not, you cannot take it lightly. I think across the world, there are some countries that don't have snakes. Like I'm told that in New Zealand, there's no snake. There are no snakes there. I don't know. But in Uganda, there are snakes. The word of God about snakes. So sometimes people, one of the ways you can know this is a family dominant spirit. You'll find family members dreams of developing wings and flying, which is actually very common. And people hardly share dreams in churches. Once the church leaders have delivered the messages of God, people say that is enough. But there should be spiritual counseling, psychosocial counseling, and many other things that actually Christians need to go through, deliverance, for them really to get out of those demonic influences in their lives. Family members can also dream of domestic animals, cows, sheep, goats, following them or chasing them. And sometimes, you know, at a family level, people are dreaming that they are rich. And you think when you dream that you're rich, you're really going to become rich. No, it doesn't. It means in your family lineage, your ancestors used to do it. And hence, you also have to continue appeasing the devil, sacrificing to idols. Because sometimes they say you dream that you are rich. But actually, that's one way of losing your riches, because you would think of like, let me like get this animal and sacrifice, because I think when I do it and appease the devil, you know, people trust it so much that the devil is the one that is the overall source of wealth. So you get it and you do it. By the time you realize you had 10 cows, by the time you realize it in the crowd, there's not even one cow. So now God is reminding us that the ancestors, you know, God reminds us after every other time that we should not, as I already said, He wants us that we should not consult what? Mediums. So sometimes we dream, you dream that you're fasting, or you're feasting, you're enjoying, there's lots of food, and people have come and gathered around, and like there's a party. So, but also sometimes you dream about this party being attended by your relatives, or a party organized, and even the dead is there having that kind of fellowship with the ancestors. And you know, it's only a relationship which actually is not good, because it's a relationship with the ancestors. The only thing that is mandatory that should be done is having a deliverance.
Mr. Frank, I just wanted us to come on the issue of the dream a bit, enlighten people about dreams, because this is one thing that we usually, most of the people take it for granted. Some time back we started talking about what dreams are. That's when people are nowadays calling, at least to want to know. Because in Job, I think you can open for us, Job 33, verse 15 to 16, talks about dreams. And then maybe Numbers 12, verse 6, so that we can be able to get a view of what the dreams are all about, because sometimes for us we think it is a mere thing that is supposed to happen every time in our lives. And then it tells us a different thing altogether. When we read it in the Bible, then we'll get to know what it was meant for.
Numbers chapter 12 verse 6, it says, "And he said, Hear my words. If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak with him in a dream." Yeah, I speak with him in a dream.
Yeah. Actually, that
Is Numbers.
Yeah, Numbers. It shows us that is how God speaks to us. So simply, dreams are not always demonic alone, but there's reasons why God does speak to us through dreams. But they are demonic dreams, as he was saying. There, as he said, there are actually more like 3 types of dreams, 3 or 4 types of dreams. And now, if you go to Daniel chapter 2, verse 22, why do these things happen? Because here it says he reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him. Now, God knows what is happening in darkness. Now, the only way he can reveal them to us is through dreams. So some of the dreams that come around, you saw him talking about like when you have the dominant spirits are beginning to operate around the dreams that come. And in that the dreams come so that we may be able to know that there's something happening. Yeah? Sometimes God reveals them to us so that we can awaken and get to know that there is something wrong somewhere. Yeah? And the one on the side of the enemy, he does them sometimes to intimidate us, sometimes to draw our attention, and then he fools us around. We end up falling into that trap. Into that trap. First read the other book we talked about, then we around Job 33 verse 15 to 16. Read that, then we see the types of the dreams, then we go back to where we were.
The book of Job, chapter 33, verse 15 to 16. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, while they slumber on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and terrifies them with warnings.
With warnings. Sometimes some of the dreams, God brings them to us as warnings, to let us know that either something is happening wrong somewhere, we must desist from the ways that we are taking. The ways we are taking. And the dreams that we talked about as now, the first one is dreams that come from God to alert us that there's something wrong going somewhere. Then there are dreams that do come. Sometimes, yes, the content or the whatever is going through that dream may be scaring and all those bad things. But you wake up, you're peaceful. But now there is that dream that happens in a way that you wake up, you're fearing. Those are the ones he talks about. He calls nightmares. Those are full force, the ones of the enemy. And you know, in our lives, when fear comes, it makes us to abandon. Actually, fear is the opposite of faith. When fear is there, you will not have any faith anymore. That is the reason why the devil uses fear as a tool to intimidate people when you get afraid. So I just want you to continue from there.
Yeah, but now, you know, dreams, God really communicates to us through dreams. In the book of Genesis, you realize at the time when Joseph got his promotion in Egypt.
Yeah.
This is what actually Potiphar went through.
Yeah.
Like 2 in 1. He dreamt of. Can we get there? I don't know. We shall take time. But anyway, it's in the book of Genesis 35, 37 there.
Yeah, I know about that.
So he dreams, and like 2 in 1. The first dream talks of the tiny small cows, and then the other fatter ones. It was okay in a dream. His spirit was taken by the river Nile, and then he was now dreaming of the small. Those cows, 7 of them. Then again he dreams of the fat ones coming, and then the small ones swallowing the big ones.
And God was actually speaking of the future.
God was speaking of the future and letting him know that this is what's going to happen in Egypt. So dreams communicate our past, dreams communicate our present, also communicates our future.
Even Joseph, at the beginning, you remember, when he was, before he came to Egypt, it was his dream that talked about his future. And then
that caused the tension among the
brothers who started fighting him off. Yeah.
So also personally, when I was at the place of work, one time I dreamt that I had boarded a plane gone to India. And actually just within that week, the human resource, within just less than 1 week, I wrote an appointment. You know, I read a promotional letter had already been worked on. And I was just called to the manager's office and given, without any other procedures actually. Now fulfilling that dream from a cleaner, just a toilet, a latrine cleaner, a compound cleaner, to become an attendant. So during the times I was working, all the dreams that I was going through actually was connected with my promotions at the place of work, and they were coming, they were very real. So if you trust in God, actually most of these dreams will come from God, and you will honor them, you will see them pass. But also from self. For example, an example that I can talk about dreams like children when they are playing, from self, you know, as they go to sleep, when you're the parent and you take care, they will, like, it comes to the lives of these children, the people mentioning, calling names, the kind of play they were having in the day. So it occurs, it keeps on occurring in their lives. For example, to those people that are bankers, you know, interacting with the notes, most times in their sleep, they will find that they are counting what? Monies. But wake up, there's not even a single note in their what? Because, you know, the concentration was high during the day. You go to bed, you think that you're still like working. So those are dreams coming from self. But there are also I think it's something called this numberists, people that walk in. You wake up in your sleep. You wake up and you go and do some business.
Even open the door.
Open the door.
Go out.
You even go to shower. You even go out, and you come back and you go back to continue sleeping. You wake up the following day. When somebody tells you that this is what happened on you in the night, then you begin pulling it up to say, no, it did not happen on me. So those are numbers. Those are sleepwalkers actually. It also happens.
Is it spiritual?
It's not really spiritual.